What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Pizza and Pixels, the show where myself and JP order a pizza and talk about video games until that pizza shows up. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, aka HexxedPhenom, aka the Sony Jabroni, and joining me, of course, is my co-host, the abstract rocker, JP. How you doing today, JP?
It's been one hell of a wild day, but we're doing pretty damn good. Time's flying, and we got endless wings later on.
Yes, we do. But
so ready for that.
We are gonna catch up on some of the gaming news we missed over the past couple weeks, because the last two episodes of Pizza and Pixels, we did our top favorite games of the decade and then our top favorite games of 2019. So we've missed out on some gaming news, so we're gonna go back and talk about some of it. So.
Oh, yeah.
We're just going to go in order from the way I have these articles listed.
Another delay.
Final Fantasy VII Remake delayed till April.
Another delay.
Yep.
Which is seemingly endless now. We're only in 1 month in 2020.
Square Enix needs more time to apply final polish. The long-awaited first episode of the Final Fantasy VII Remake is delayed until April 10th. Square Enix producer Yoshinori Kitase, I probably said that wrong. I apologize. Made the announcement this morning on the company's official blog. The game was previously scheduled to arrive on March 3rd, so it was delayed about 5 weeks. We know that so many of you are looking forward to the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and have been waiting patiently to experience what we have been working on. In order to ensure we deliver the game that is in line with our vision and the quality that our fans who have been waiting for deserve, we have decided to move the release date to April 10th.
Nice.
So, that's not all.
Not really in the Final Fantasy, but hey, I'd say if you're looking forward to it, that really does suck. Then again, how we just had Dying Light 2 get delayed.
Apparently, I don't have an article on it, but because of Final Fantasy getting pushed back, that also pushed back the release of Marvel's Avengers from May 20th, 2020 to September 7th or something like that. So Avengers is now coming out in September. Now we've got Cyberpunk 2077 was delayed to September as well.
I really don't see that game being any good, but Keanu Reeves.
Reeves. It's made by the people that made The Witcher 3. I think it's going to cater to a very specific audience, but that audience that it caters to is going to love the hell out of it.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, I'm just saying to everybody, because people are like Keanu Reeves. That was the only reason why I even gave it the.
I'm excited about it even before Keanu Reeves. I don't know. It seems interesting, but we'll see. So Cyberpunk has been delayed from April 16th to September 17th. It says we are currently at the stage where the game is complete and playable, but there's still work to be done.
At least the game's complete.
Said co-founder and head of studio at CD Projekt Red. Night City is massive, full of stories, content, and places to visit, but due to the sheer scale and complexity of it all, we need more time to finish playtesting, fixing, and polishing. We want Cyberpunk 2077 to be our crowning achievement for this generation, and postponing launch will give us the precious months we need to make the game perfect.
Oh, hey, whatever you could do to have that better lasting impact, Because, a lot of everyone I really know only knew it because of Keanu Reeves. That was the only reason why I was like, yo, Keanu Reeves. Well, I was during our E3 coverage, right?
Yeah.
Like 2.5 hour show we did. I was going to say.
But,
Keanu.
I don't know, I want to think that so many games are getting delayed to, right before the release of the next-gen consoles, because they're working on updates or things that will help the game take advantage once they're played on the new consoles.
Hey, hopefully.
But I don't know. I think that's maybe just wishful thinking. I mean, regardless, if a delay is needed, a delay is needed. I would rather have a game be delayed so that it's better when it comes out than it just come out fucking shit and then be fixed 12 months later when no one cares anymore.
You mean like that one? That was that one game with the motorcycle guy.
Oh, Days Gone.
Days Gone. That game.
Wasn't
so bad.
That wasn't. I mean, I played through it when it first came out, and there was performance issues, and some glitches, but I don't think it was as bad as people made it out to be. It definitely wasn't up to the amount of polish that you would expect from a Sony exclusive, which I think we were spoiled up until that point.
They built it up pretty big too. That's why I was like, oof.
I haven't gone back to it since I beat it, but I've heard that it's in a much better place now.
It got better. Yeah, it still has issues, but it got better.
Although I have gripes with the story, but that's a story for another time. So, with that, we also have, let's see, Dying Light 2 delayed indefinitely, previously scheduled for spring 2020.
I was mentioned that before. I didn't even know we had an article on it, but yeah, it got delayed, which sucks so damn bad.
Dying Light 2, Techland's follow-up to its open-world zombie action game from 2015, has been pushed back. The Polish developer... It's crazy to me to think that Dying Light came out 5 years ago. I didn't even realize it was that long.
And they took their sweet time. It's like, really, now it gets to... I'm just like, wow.
The Polish publisher announced on Monday that the sequel will not make its originally scheduled release window of spring 2020. We were initially aiming for a spring 2020 release date with Dying Light 2, but unfortunately we need more development time to fulfill our vision, said Techland CEO. In a note posted to the franchise's Twitter account, he added, "Our priority is to deliver an experience that lives up to our own high standards and the expectations of you, our fans."
Yeah, it kind of has to. Like, if this game fizzles, the whole series is practically gone. Because, I mean, Dying Light came out because, essentially, we were going to have Dead Island 2.
Yeah, well, it was the studio that used to do Dead Island, right?
Yeah, it was just a dispute between studios, and people love Dying Light way more. So if Dying Light 2 flops, I mean, that series is kind of like just there. So I'm hoping it turns out good. I mean, it's looking pretty good from what they said. It's going to happen with branching storylines and parts of the city that may not be playable. And
the only problem I have with that is I feel like, because I know what you're talking about. Like, they said that
they made a lot of promises.
They made branching stories, and so like, I think Greg Miller from Kind of Funny was actually just talking about this on one of their shows the other day. He was saying at a preview event that I was probably at E3, like, I don't know, last year or the year before.
Yeah.
That. The demo that they saw, they said that there was like a decision that you could choose to like flood the one part of the city or to drain it or something like that. And you could either just leave it flooded and never see that whole part of the map, or you can empty it and have a whole new part of the map.
Yep.
And Greg's like, I wonder if they did a lot of stuff like that, because it seems like wasted development time when you think about the fact that
5 years.
On average, 50% of players won't ever get to play in that city because it's a 50-50 decision, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's replayability in that retrospect, which is pretty cool. And
there's replayability, but it's also like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It's a gamble, I can tell you that, but I think
it seems ambitious, but
it's super ambitious. Like, honestly, to tell you the truth, I feel like this might just be a PS5 kind of title. Like, what do you think? Do you think it's going to actually hit PS4, or do you think it's just going to go right to the next gen practically? Because they never said what it's going to be on. I don't recall they said what it was going to be on. They said PC, but
I think it all depends on when it launches. I think, because they didn't... The key with this thing is all the other delays we just talked about. They provided new dates. This didn't provide any new date, not even like a window, not even a year. So they're just like, hey, it's delayed.
Indefinitely. It's like, wow.
So I think depending on when it's coming out, it could just come out on PS5 and Xbox Series X, or it might be just like a PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox One X, or Xbox Series X. Like a cross-generation launch.
I feel like they could easily take advantage of the next-gen consoles. I think Dying Light 2 would be...
I think they could, but I think for what Dying Light is, I think it would probably be smarter for them if they were going to do that, to release on both, so that they still have the big install bases of the other consoles to get as many sales as they can.
Yeah, at the rate they're going, I might just get it for next gen though, because that.
Oh, I probably will too.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be way too damn close. You know, gonna be good.
But yeah, I could see them doing that, releasing it for both generations,
just to get more cash flow too.
So yeah, there's probably other delays that we missed too. I think those are the four.
There's so many.
4 or 5 major ones though.
I'm hoping,
and it's odd.
I'm hoping Zombie Army 4. I hope that does not get delayed, because that has been that's been so hyped for so long. Like, I'm so ready. And once they showed it, I think it's not going to get delayed, because they had like a full on demo of it and they showed a lot of things. But man, if that got delayed, dude, I'd lose a lot of hope, especially because we're looking at doing our anticipated games. It'd be kind of hard to do that when they're all delayed. Definitely.
I mean, that was the thing that I had too, because I was like, well, Dying Light would be on my list, but I don't know if it's coming out this year.
So now
GTA would be on my list, but we don't know if it's coming out this year.
So essentially, and there's only like 20 damn games confirmed to actually be hit in 2020. So it's like
that's because everyone's waiting for like the big like push for next gen. It's like, oh, yeah, because at this point,
it's just the final.
Unless there's like no way to really push your game back a couple months, most of these games, it would be smart to just be like, yeah, well, we'll just put it on PS5, or we'll put it on both, and we'll wait until we get closer to the console launch.
It's going to be interesting to see the differences between the PS4 and PS5 versions that'll get people like pissed.
Honestly,
and
like,
fanboys,
well,
you know? Always happens.
Granted, I think that PS4 to PS5 seems, on paper, I think, to be a more significant jump than it was from PS3 to PS4. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah.
But I played Call of Duty Ghosts on PS3 when it came out, and then I got the PS4 version. And granted, that's just one game as an example. That's not a big sample size, but it didn't really look all that different. Like, it looked better, but not by like a huge noticeable amount, in my opinion.
I was to say, I feel like the jump this time is going to be pretty crucial. With what
it's all like what
tech and all that good stuff.
It's all what developers decide to do. We're not going to see the full potential of the console until 2 or 3 years in, when things are being made only for that console. Because they're gonna, especially with how successful the PS4 was, they're gonna be like, with how successful the PS4 was, it's gonna be like, hey, you know, are we gonna release our game on a console that has 106 million sales, or one that just came out a couple months ago and only has like 2 or 3 million sales? You know what I mean?
It's just gonna be
It's
funny.
a no-brainer.
I just love the point in a console generation where they cut it off and people go, "Why'd you cut the console? Why not?" It's like, because you gotta keep going. You know, you can't be stuck in the past. But that's
and
always
plus,
funny
like,
how fanboys react to it.
See, this console generation coming up is going to be, I think, the least traditional console generation that we've seen so far.
It's gonna be something
in consoles, in a console's history, because, like, just the different approaches that Microsoft and Sony are taking, and we're going to dive into it at some point, but it's just like, I don't know.
It's going to be very interesting.
But yeah, I did find the article for the Avengers game. The Avengers game got delayed from May 15th to September 4th. So there we go. That's Avengers.
Man, that sucks that it got delayed, though. I know you and Tyler are pretty hyped for that.
I'm a Marvel shill, what can I say?
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty gets in on the Australian relief, pledging DLC sale to charity.
Oh yeah, that was older, but yeah, we're getting caught up on stuff. Yeah, the endowment, right? Or is that like a version of the endowment fund?
All right, well, let's get into the article.
It looks pretty cool with the designs that they have, the koalas and all that stuff for the guns.
Infinity Ward and Activision are pitching in on recovery efforts for the devastating Australian bushfires, renaming Call of Duty Modern Warfare's Outback Pack of premium cosmetics, and promising all sales of it, past and present, will go towards relief organizations. The item is now called the Outback Relief Pack, and it goes for 1,800 COD points, which is roughly $20. For players, it includes the Bush Ranger Operator skin, an exclusive sniper rifle, a koala charm, and other stickers and cosmetics.
It's pretty crazy for that amount of money, though, but yeah, at least they're doing the right thing, you know?
Infinity Ward announced the campaign yesterday, which that was yesterday as of January 12th. And I'm getting a phone call. What? So Infinity Ward announced the campaign yesterday. Outback Relief Pack. The revenue from the sales will go to various organizations at the end of the month, so the fund drive runs until January 31st. So by the time you guys see it tomorrow, you'll have about a week left to get it. And even if you're not a fan of microtransactions, if you like what's in it, I would recommend buying it. It's for a good cause. So
I still can't believe the price of it. I thought it was like $10, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. But hey, at least it supports the whole bushfires and helps
not
with
only
the
that,
relief efforts. So that's
obviously that's the most important part of the thing.
That's the most important part.
But also, they upcharge on that stuff because they have to offset like the fact that you would spend like $40 on supply drops just trying to get one of the items in that thing normally. You know what I mean?
They're so screwed with microtransactions anymore. It's just, oh, man.
It's all developers. It's a
insane.
Fortnite thing because all the kids on Fortnite pay $20 for one character skin.
Thunderclad now in loot crates this year, they have to report the percentages and stuff like that.
I think we talked about that way back.
Yeah, we talked about that way back.
September over the summer.
We are now in the year where it all happens. So
all right, so these next two articles are exactly what I was talking about how differently the manufacturers are handling this next console generation. Microsoft promises Xbox Series X games will also play on Xbox One for now. The Xbox ecosystem will work sort of like PC, exec says. The next console generation begins this holiday season when Microsoft and Sony launching new hardware in the forms of the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 respectively. This time around, since both consoles will offer full backwards compatibility with current generation games, that doesn't mean leaving the past behind. Microsoft is going one step further. Its first-party games will be playable across both the Xbox One and Xbox Series X, at least for now, meaning that nothing will be restricted exclusively to the new console.
Well, that's interesting.
Quote, as our content comes out over the next year, 2 years, all of our games, sort of like PC, will play up and down the family of devices, said Matt Booty, head of Microsoft's internal development teams at Xbox Game Studios. We want to make sure if someone invests in Xbox between now and Series X that they feel they made a good investment and that we're committed to them with content. Microsoft has offered glimpses of 2 first-party Xbox One Series X games, 343 Industries' Halo Infinite, scheduled to launch alongside the console, and Ninja Theory's Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. The company's marketing is likely to focus on the next-gen versions of both titles, highlighting all the bells and whistles that the Xbox Series X will enable, such as photorealistic graphics and real-time ray tracing. So, Microsoft is going with a very non-traditional, I would say, but also
Is this the thing
consumer-friendly route.
Is this the thing you were saying that they're making sure you don't have to buy their new console? Is that?
Yeah.
Because, I saw it the other day and I'm like, that's really weird. It was interesting. Okay. So hearing it's an interesting game plan.
So yeah, basically
cool.
they're saying at least for the first 2 years, any Xbox Series X, any Xbox exclusives will launch on both Xbox Series X and Xbox One. Which is, I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, it's definitely consumer friendly, and I'm all for that. Obviously,
it's going to come to a point where they're just going to cut it because it's like comparing. It's like a light version of the actual game. Like after a while, you're going to start seeing the differences. That's going to be like, why?
I mean, that's exactly what happens when
that's exactly what
every console generation that happens. It's like how they had the PS3 and 360 version of GTA 5 and the PS4 and Xbox One version, and then eventually after like a couple of GTA Online updates after
they just said screw it.
The PS4 and Xbox One versions came out, they're like, yeah, these games can't support this anymore. Like we're done. We're done with them.
Yeah, it's just like, we did it. We did our promise, and that was it. So
it gets to a point where the old games can't handle your vision for the game you're trying to make.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if they're going to be making any sacrifices other than like just graphical or things like that. Like, obviously, I think this console generation isn't going to be... I don't know how to explain it. Like, I think as technology keeps advancing, it's going to be less about, like, straight up, like, features or parts of the game that the console can't handle, but it's going to be more like, particle effects or ray tracing, real-time reflections, lighting effects, and
you're going to start seeing
graphical things. But it's just like...
It's probably going to start off as your average, like you were saying with Call of Duty Ghosts, but then it's going to get to the point where it's like, if you're playing the lower end version, like, you know that you're getting kind of ripped off and you should probably just get the next console, because it's like, you're basically, it's kind of like playing Black Ops 3
that's exactly
on
what
the
I was thinking
PS3.
about. Yep.
Man, what a horrible game. Oh my god. Even
Last gen Richtofen, though.
And then there was the liquid divinium. They couldn't even Photoshop cut out the divinium bottle. It was like a horrible trace around it. I'm like, wow. Like, they just basically threw it in people's face saying, you want to stay on these gen consoles? You get this.
It was also made by some, like, random outsourced studio.
And you know that's going to happen with these games. They're going to source it to other studios and be like, hey, can you recode these and degrade the... degrade the textures, please.
Yeah. Well, this article goes on to basically exactly what we're talking about. If first-party developers have to design a game that can be played on such a wide range of hardware, is there a risk that their ambition will be hampered by a scope that's limited to the capabilities of Xbox One? Could they do more if they weren't restricted by the constraints of supporting what will be a 7-year-old console by the time the Xbox Series X launches?
Oh my god.
And we're able to focus solely on next-gen hardware. Microsoft has yet to comment on numerous reports of a second next-generation model, but the long-rumored console codenamed Lockhart is said to be a less powerful version of the Series X.
So basically, they're already planning this, but they're trying to play the good guys by saying, you're all good, but there's going to come a time where people that bought Lockhart are going to be like, this isn't the real X console, right?
I think the thing with Lockhart is it's basically like...
could be
I don't know how to explain it. Like, this is another thing I was talking about how this generation is going to be so weird and interesting.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's definitely going to be interesting.
I think the thing with Lockhart is that it's going to, like, it's never going to get to the point where it's like, okay, like how eventually they're going to have to cut off from the Xbox One. I think the Lockhart is going to go, all the games are going to be playable on both Lockhart and Series X.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lockhart is literally just going to be like just your cheaper, dumbed down version. Like, hey,
your light version.
Yeah, like if you want to get into the next generation and still be able to play these games but not have to spend the $500 or $600 whatever the console's going to launch at, then here's your option. It'll probably be like,
so what happens when does that mean in theory the games are going to get so powerful that these people can't play it on their next gen light console?
I don't think so. I think
I'm
there'll always be a
hoping
dumbed
that's-
down version of the game that'll play on Lockhart.
Wow, that's crazy.
But see, the thing is like, how complicated is it going to be? Like, is Xbox going to do another Xbox One X? Like, are they going to do an Xbox Series XX? And then there's going to be 3 different Xboxes that you have to develop for? Like, things are going to be so weird this console generation.
And then there's going to be the Xbox Series XXX.
That's a completely different console.
And that's going to be...
That's for porn only.
It's going to come with the Ron Jeremy add-on. And it's going to come...
Instead of coming with a Kinect, it's going to come with a webcam.
It's going to come with a webcam. And then next thing you know, Dead or Alive is going to release on that console. And then hot coffee mods are going to pop up. And,
hot coffee for Dead or Alive.
And then there's going to be... Then there's going to be on the XXX Xbox Series console, there is going to be a Jenna Jameson game.
Oh, God.
And there's going to be a game where you could play as, like, Ultimate Smash Brothers, but as your favorite porn stars from Co-Ed's Gone Wild.
That's the game I want to play.
Yeah, cheerleaders and Co-Ed's Gone Wild. Hell yeah. Pre-order now.
The sad thing is that the name Super Smash Brothers still fits so well.
Super Smash Bros.
Super Smash Bros. XXX Edition.
Featuring Ron Jeremy. Because Ron Jeremy's, like, the almighty god. Oh,
he's like the final boss.
featuring Lemmy Kilmister, since he had 1,000 girls in his life, apparently. The sex god himself will be playable with an exclusive Motorhead Lost track. Okay, wow, that was...
No, but yeah, so like, and then you think eventually, you think eventually, realistically, we'll probably get a second, like a more powerful Xbox Series X, whatever they decide to call it.
Why can't Xbox just stick to one console?
And then... I don't know, but you think you'd assume we'll also get PS5, and then a couple years later get PS5 Pro again. So that's going to be like 5 different consoles that you'd have to develop for 2 platforms technically.
Yeah, like I could understand the PS5 and the PS5 Pro, but like the Xbox Series X and the Lockhart and Scorpio,
I feel like that's just gonna piss developers off. I think is what it's gonna do.
I feel like it's gonna come to the point where
I think developers are kind of already pissed off enough with Xbox,
Lockhart
like with PS4 and PS4 Pro and Xbox One and Xbox One X. I think it's hard enough to be like
we got to decode
we have
these games.
We have to develop for 4 consoles now instead of 2.
You know what it's gonna come down to? It's going to turn just like Black Ops 3. It's going to come to Treyarch being like, I will only do these consoles. Get that crappy studio to recode these games. That's exactly where it's going to go. Because I don't see them being like, all right, well, we finished the PS5 Pro version, the PS5 version, and the Xbox Series X. But who wants to make Lockhart and Scorpio and all the other ones? It's like, they're going to be like, dude, just toss it to another studio. I could already see it. I mean, there's only so much time in game development cycles. That's crazy.
I missed another delay on the list. Sorry, I didn't have these in order. Oh, boy. Iron Man VR delayed to May. So the PlayStation VR game that will let studios slip into Tony Stark's Iron Man suit needs more time in the lab.
Who asked for this? What?
Developer Camouflage announced on Friday that Marvel's Iron Man VR has been delayed to May 15th. Previously, the PlayStation VR exclusive was expected on February 28th.
So does that mean now we're getting Captain America VR, since they're the good and the bad guy that are against each other until Endgame came to a head, which I'm not going to remotely spoil at all for people, but you should probably know what happens by now. But who asked for Iron Man VR? Thing. What?
I haven't played it, but I've heard it's actually really fun.
Oh, God.
But
I think we're going to see a lot of games come out where we're going to be like, who asked for this?
I think that I hope we get to a point in VR where we can, which it's already kind of happened, but I hope it comes to a point where like we get like the typical release for VR is like full games, you know what I mean? Instead of just these like these couple minute experience things.
I was about to take a jab at that for this reason. So my friend, when VR first started, it was Keck.
Yep.
So Keck invited me over and he was showing me VR like through his phone with the augmented glasses, and we were playing what the hell was it? Well, it wasn't Outlast, it was Amnesia. It was Amnesia, and it was a few other horror games and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, well, this should be pretty cool because, these are full games on the consoles. And here I find out it's only one level and the game's over in like 10 minutes, yet the game is like almost a quarter the size of a full game. And it's like, it makes you wonder, are we ever going to get to the point where we get actually full
There
games?
have been some, like Resident Evil 7, you can play the entire thing in VR.
Okay, at least there has been some, yeah.
And there's other ones made exclusively for VR, but it's not like...
Yeah, it's just like, they're like bubblegum shooters. Like, you shoot them up and that's it.
What's the quote? Full games in VR are the exception right now, not the rule, where I want it to be the other way around.
I want it to be the rule and no exception, essentially, but... Yeah, I don't know.
I think those little experiences will always have their place in VR to just, like, pop it on someone's head and be like, here, play this thing for a couple minutes.
Yeah, like,
but
I call those demos, and it was just funny because what I call a demo and what normal gaming people call a demo is actually a full game in VR developed. Like, for example, Until Dawn Rush of Blood. That game is so short, and yet it was...
It's just like a roller coaster, like, gallery shooter.
Yeah, and it's like a bubblegum shooter on rails, and people were, like, really hyped because this was apparently going to be, like, a direct sequel, but it was, like...
Does it even have any story to
it? I think it tells you, like, backstories to what kind of relates into the first game, and then that's what led us to like the Dark Pictures anthology. There is a sequel coming out for Until Dawn. That's probably PS5 most likely.
Until Dusk.
I'm not gonna lie, I would play that game. Until Dusk, Until Dawn 2. But yeah, then you play games like that and you're like, oh, this should be a pretty cool game. I just spent $40 on another one, and this series alone is an atrocity. Paranormal Activity. They made a VR game, and it was like $50, and they were luring people in thinking this was like a full game. It was only, I think, 2 hours, not even.
The thing I appreciate
2 hours.
The thing I appreciate most of the time, at least with these VR games, is most of them aren't full price. Most of them are like 20, 15, $20, $30 maybe.
And when I saw Paranormal Activity on the store, I'm like, so first you tried to leech off a Saw, and now you're trying to leech off of the VR horror experience. It's like, come on, guys. Apparently there's a new movie coming out.
Oh, yeah, I saw your post about that.
No, I mean, like, Paranormal Activity.
Oh, a new Paranormal Activity.
Oh, yeah, the new Saw movie's been in the pipeline. But, yeah, now that Saw's back, they're like, guys, we need a new Paranormal Activity movie. It's like, guys, no one asked for this. But, yeah, I do have a dream that VR, I have a dream that one day VR... I have a dream that one day my mom will understand that I cannot pause online games. But yeah, going back to VR, I have a dream.
The only VR I've ever experienced was, like you were saying, our friend Keck. He gave me the same thing with his phone, threw on the VR headset. That was the night before SummerSlam when we were up till like 3 a.m.
Yeah, he's like, yo, check out Amnesia. Yo, check out this Hollows game. Yo, check out this. And like,
I think the thing he showed me was like, it was literally just like riding a like some weird like minecart roller coaster thing, and I'm like, it's cool, but I was just like,
oh yeah, that was the night when you guys.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just fucking sitting there. It's like, okay, cool, I'm on a roller coaster.
Yeah, you guys were up to like what 5 in the morning.
Yeah, we were up to like 4 a.m.
Yo, they
the morning before SummerSlam.
And then I'm like, yo, guys, who's ready? And you're like, I'm not.
Yeah, because you went to bed at like 10.
I played it safe because I knew we had a long journey to Brooklyn for SummerSlam 2016 when Randy Orton got his ass like completely whipped.
And then
that was the one.
I was just like, I'll stay up a little bit longer. And then me and him were just fucking around, and I didn't even realize what time it was. I was like, oh, it's like fucking 4 a.m.
Dude, that was a really damn good SummerSlam. That AJ Cena match, though.
That was awesome.
Oh.
But
going back onto VR and stuff, I think that I think we deserve to have a full VR experience like Resident Evil and like games developed for VR that are just
like I
as
said,
well
there
as
are a
normal
couple,
games.
but I think it needs to go from full games they need to be the rule, not the exception.
Exactly, yes. And
that's the main
right now.
That's the main reason I haven't invested in a VR, like a PlayStation VR yet, is because, I mean, one, because I'm poor, but two, because I'm not interested in just those little mini, like, experiences. Like, Iron Man VR sounds cool and seems cool for what it's doing, but if it's just like a little short, like, hour or two experience, then I'm unfortunately not interested, as much as I love Iron Man.
The thing that sucks is they like majority of developers now are like overcharging for VR games, and it's kind of like they're cashing in on people that are just kind of too stupid to know that it's not going to be like. It seems like the people they're getting are the people that want a full game and then they play it and it lasts an hour, and then these people get absurdly pissed, which is rightfully so. But I
don't know. I think VR has more kinks to work out other than just that. But
I think it just comes down to like how much development they take. Because doesn't VR games, don't they take a hell of a lot more development because they're like fully the augmented and the 3-dimension.
Yeah, probably. I would imagine it takes a special skill set to develop for VR.
And I think that's probably why they're overpriced. But like we said, it should be the rule without any exceptions, not exceptions and just loose promises and. But once that happens, I will fully be on board with VR. No doubts on that.
But back to what I was talking about the two major console companies taking very different approaches for the next generation. PlayStation is skipping E3 2020. The PlayStation 5 won't have a first-party presence at E3 this year. For the second year in a row, Sony Interactive Entertainment is skipping E3, North America's marquee video game expo, which is organized by the Entertainment Software Association. In a statement to Polygon, a Sony spokesperson said, quote, after thorough evaluation, SIE has decided not to participate in E3 2020. We have great respect for the ESA as an organization, but we do not feel the vision of E3 2020 is the right venue for what we are focused on this year. We will build upon our global event strategy in 2020 by participating in hundreds of consumer events across the globe. Our focus is on making sure fans feel part of the PlayStation family and have access to play their favorite content. We have a fantastic lineup of titles coming to PlayStation 5, and with the upcoming launch of we have a fantastic lineup of titles coming to PlayStation 4, and with the upcoming launch of PlayStation 5, we are truly looking forward to a year of celebration with the fans.
I got pretty excited when you said PS5. I'm like, what? We already know there's going to be a giant line of games, but do you think this has anything to do with the fact that, like, wait, weren't you saying that Sony, like, had issues with E3 because, like, people were leaking developer notes or, like, not developer notes.
So basically, if you guys didn't know, the company that organizes E3, the Entertainment Software Association, or the ESA, something, I don't know the full extent of it exactly, but something happened last year after E3 where just on their website, like on their public website, they just had, I don't know if it was something in the back end, I don't know the exact details of it, but they basically just had info of like all of the developers and press and media people that bought badges to E3,
which
they were just posted on the website. The website wasn't hacked for this to be found; it was just there.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be. As you can imagine.
So they basically doxed a bunch of journalists, reporters, media, developers too, I think, and so rightly so. A bunch of developers and people were pissed. Journalists were pissed. So E3, which was already on, rocky standings last year.
Yep.
Is now in even more hot water.
E3 and I think it's good. I like E3. It's just when shit like that goes down, it's like what do you really stand for if you're gonna just leak people that bought into what you're doing and want to basically help you? It's just they have their own assets, and to just I feel like just leaking them on your website publicly, not even data mined in HTML, is kind of like, I think it's strange. Do you have a photo of that by chance? I would love to see a photo of that. That's just insane with journalist notes and insider info. It's like
no, it's literally not even. It's not even like, it wasn't like developer notes or info. It was literally just like their names and addresses and phone numbers and email addresses.
Oh my god, that's
like
even
that
worse.
Kind of personal info, like their contact info.
That's even worse. Whoa.
Like, people had to get their phone numbers changed, like, addresses changed, shit like that.
Damn, that's even worse than what I thought it was.
Yeah.
That's that's going beyond leaking notes. That's like full
It's
on
doxing people.
yeah,
finding their location and leaking.
that's just an invasion of your privacy on so many levels.
That's why so many people are pissed off about it.
That's insane. Did they take it off immediately, or did people just literally get what
I don't remember
tried.
now. They tried, and then someone was still able to find it in the back end somewhere. So, like, it was publicly available at first, and they took it down, but then it was still in the back end of the website somewhere, and then more people found it. And then they finally, like, shut the website down and took it off or something like that. You can probably still find traces or articles about it if you Google it, I'm sure. But
My God.
yeah, so
Wow,
it was
okay.
absolutely insane. So
That's
I think this is
insane.
definitely part of that.
I know.
But then there's also been, as far as I know, just from, I don't work in the games industry, so I don't know. But from what I've heard from, listening to podcasts and stuff of people who are in the gaming industry, mostly kind of funny.
So, I mean,
they
Greg
said that
Miller
it's-
and all got leaked on there too, like Greg Miller's address and everything.
Probably, yeah.
Holy crap, that's insane.
And I think it was literally everyone that went to E3 as like press and media.
Oh my God.
I think it was just like a giant fucking list of everyone. But
Oh my God, that's so bad. Wow.
But I also heard that for the past couple of years, like, there's been arguments between the different publishers and stuff of, like, some publishers and developers want the event to stay an industry event because it started as just an industry event. Like, the only people that could go were journalists and people, getting, like, gameplay demos for their websites or for...
Rightfully so, because
whatever.
it makes the world go round. It's a business,
And then... But then
industry.
to make more money and stuff, they started opening it up to the public, and now they have, like, badges and stuff you could buy and attend as a fan.
So does that mean we could, like, legitimately just buy a badge and somehow just be like, be one of the people just write with journalists, essentially? Is that what they do? Like a
Well, now
VIP?
because of it is, like, the way they do it is there's now journalists have to, like, make appointments, and they'll go, like, behind closed doors for demos, and then they have, like, stuff that's available to the public, which is just like demo stations for, like, random games or whatever.
Oh, okay. It's like, yo, VIP experience, man.
But so some developers don't like the people, and, like, some developers and journalists don't like the extra people that are there because it makes their jobs harder. And then but some others want it to be more open to the public because, I mean, it's good marketing. And the more people that are playing your game early and getting good word of mouth about it, you know what I mean, the better.
So it's more it's basically cutthroat at this point.
Basically. So I think it's a combination of the two things as to why Sony's not there, because because other than this, it seems like Sony's seems to be going the pretty traditional route for this next console generation. I mean, as far as we know, they're planning on right away releasing exclusives just for PS5, not like how Xbox is going to be releasing on Xbox One and Series X. So, I mean, I don't know.
I think where we're at is that Sony knows the future, and Xbox is kind of unsure of where they want to go in terms of where the market's going to be. I mean, realistically, we all know that as technology improves at an alarming rate.
Yeah.
And the consoles just can't keep up, and
which is why I think stuff like the PS4 to PS4 Pro a couple years later is a good idea.
And that's why the Pro model coming in about halfway through halfway through the cycle is when the Pro comes out. It
was PS4 launched November 15th, 2013, and then if I remember correctly, November, I think it was 21st. 2016, I think, was the PlayStation 4 Pro. Let me make sure.
Okay, so essentially that's halfway through the cycle a little more.
Yeah, PS4
It's going to
Pro
get you where you need to be with the next technology,
date.
and it gives you that bump of
November
technology.
10th, 2016. So I was off by the date, but I got the year right.
So it gives you that bump of technology, gives you what you need, because, like, everyone wants to be with it as much as you could. I mean, everyone does.
It gives you the option that, like, if you just want to get the games, you have the PS4 regular for when the PS4 Pro came out, they dropped the price of the regular PS4 to $300, I think.
Yeah,
$250.
so everybody kind of wins.
And then
when you think
the PS4 Pro came out at the same original price as the PS4, $399. And it's like, hey, if you care about 4K, if you care about improved graphics, improved frame rates, here's your option.
Improved load times, yada yada. Well, you said Spider-Man loads practically like that on the Pro, right? Right?
No, on PS5. That's the
on
PS5
PS5 does, okay. But
I don't think Pro has that big of a difference in loading times. If anything, loading times might actually be worse on the Pro because it has the same type of hard drive. It has to load 4K textures
4K
instead
textures.
of 1080p. So it might actually take longer to load depending on the game.
Yeah, I was thinking of the PS5 thing as they mentioned it with Spider-Man. That's like literally a blink of an eye, which is insane. But the power for that console. But I think it's ideal that you put something out about halfway through, give people some new juice. Other than that, keep it simple, give people a deal, make money, do business, and do what you love, and not pressure them totally. But I feel like with the multiple Xboxes across different points and supporting these games, it's going to turn into like Grand Theft Auto, where you can tell a lot of developers are going to start bottoming out, and you're not going to know what to do, and people are going to start complaining because it's not as good as the next one because people don't understand specs. And it comes to a point in time where a console just it lives out its life. You can't do much more unless you want to upgrade it with $1,000 worth of new stuff, and maybe you can force it to do that, maybe.
But I mean, the thing, to finish off the E3 conversation, I don't know. I think eventually we'll just kind of get rid of E3. Because I think, Gamescom is already in the summer, so they can do announcements there. Then we have the Game Awards in December, and then I think realistically people can just start announcing their games whenever the fuck they want. Because when you think about it,
light practically, I'm ready to go.
Well, I don't know. I feel like it. Sure, as a gamer, it's so cool to be like, all right, it's E3 week. We're gonna get so many announcements. All the press conferences are gonna be dope. Let's see, what is coming. But it's also kind of cool to just be like, in terms of from a marketing perspective, I could see why developers would be like, well, yeah, let's just announce our new game on a random day in January because then we own the news cycle for the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I just feel like there's a green light constantly. It should be interesting to see where people start just bombing announcements for these games and just what they could do. I'm just so stoked for this next generation.
But yeah, I think E3 is on its last legs anyway, because even with, Sony dropped out last year again. That was because they said they didn't have anything to show, which was pretty much true. We already knew all the PS4 games coming out up until the end of the generation. There was if they didn't have anything new to show for them, there was no point to be at E3. But even then, E3 happens in the LA Convention Center. All of the press conferences aren't in the convention center anymore. They're all off-site, so that's not at E3 technically.
So that's not convenient, for one. They used to be.
Then
it's not.
Microsoft had their booth not even in the convention center. It was at the Microsoft Theater across the street. So they weren't even in the convention center. PlayStation wasn't there. The biggest booth was Nintendo, and then they said there was just from videos and stuff that I saw, it was just a bunch of random things. There was just there was a giant freaking, what is that, Bang energy drink? There was a giant Bang booth because there was nothing to fucking fill the space, because Sony usually takes up a majority of the space in the hall.
Yep, and Nintendo does theirs live streamed practically.
Well, Nintendo at least still does have their press conference is live streamed.
Yeah.
But they at least have a booth at the convention center.
Yeah.
But still.
So do you think E3 is going to die within 5 years?
In
the state it's in? Because realistically, Sony has proven, and many people...
Unless they make significant changes that appease the developers, and they can somehow get the trust back from all the people all the people's information that they leaked.
That they burned entirely. Yep. Yeah, burned it.
Well, the sad thing is most journalists kind of don't have a choice, because if you're doing it for your own blog or something, yeah, you have the choice to go back or not. But if you're doing if you're working at IGN or any type of website like that, you kind of have no choice but to go and just suck it up and go anyways. So
I'm sure a lot of them just totally get drunk and party and just try to make it the best they could, like a mini vacation practically, and then they go and do their work.
I doubt it. I mean, there's E3 parties. Don't get me wrong, but during the day, from the time the convention center opens till the time it closes is probably fucking hell.
Yeah, I'm
running
sure
around to different appointments, recording gameplay,
Writing
writing
articles. Yeah. Writing articles during your lunch when you don't have time to eat.
Yeah, your lunch is basically just time to write more articles.
And you're probably low-key just having, like, Jack Daniel's sampler bottles in your pocket, just, you know, go to the bathroom, pop it, and just be like, yep, I'm ready to go.
Or if you're Dr. Disrespect, you could go to the bathroom and film people in there. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, can you explain what happened with Dr. Disrespect?
He was doing an IRL Twitch stream.
Yeah, wasn't he streaming live from the bathroom?
Yeah, because he had a cameraman following him around, and then his cameraman followed him in the bathroom, and he was just like recording him he was just live streaming him in the bathroom.
In the bathroom, dude, breaking down walls, man. Didn't he get?
He got banned on Twitch for I think 2 or 3 weeks, which I don't know. I'm not gonna get into it. I think he should have been banned for longer because it literally didn't do anything. It wasn't even really a punishment because all it did was hype people up for when he came back after 3 weeks, and then after 3 weeks. His first live stream was like the biggest like the biggest concurrent viewers he'd ever had. And I'm like, oh, that's not much of a fucking punishment.
So does that mean Twitch basically set it up so they can get a kickback from it?
Probably.
I was gonna say.
I mean, he makes them a shit ton of money. Of course, they're not gonna. Of course, they're not gonna like straight up perma-ban him. But
you're banned for filming. I mean, imagine that.
I mean, technically in California, that's a felony. So I don't. So.
Oh, it's like, hey Josh, how you doing? How's the poop going, man? How's number 2? Just camera underneath the stall. It's like, yo,
get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm thinking about games while taking a poop. No, imagine it'd be like this.
I'm writing an article.
Oh my god. The sad part is that probably happens all the time. Oh my god.
All right. Moving on. BioShock collection reportedly headed to Switch, according to ratings leak.
Oh god.
The 3 games that make up 2K Games' BioShock series could be on the way to Nintendo Switch, according to a ratings leak in Taiwan. The post on the Taiwanese rating board's website includes basic information about the BioShock collection for Switch, mainly describing its contents as a shooter. It does not mention a release date. The remastered collection was released in 2016 on PS4 and Xbox One, which includes BioShock, BioShock 2, and BioShock Infinite, as well as all the DLC missions for the 3 games. Neither Nintendo nor 2K have announced the release of any BioShock games for Switch, though the platform hosts many pre-platform third-party classics, including The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Diablo 3, and Dark Souls. So, if you're into BioShock, could be heading to Switch soon. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I stand behind the claim. I think the Switch is going to be just like the GameCube in terms of opening the doors to everyone to do their thing. It sucks WB. Unfortunately, could not be on the Switch because 2K is just basically lazy as hell to code it. But
well, the thing is I heard that the NBA 2K games actually worked pretty well on Switch.
Yeah.
So it was just like
it's just they're lazy as hell and don't want to code it because what was the one that went on there? WB
2K18.
2K8. Well, that game was a disaster and totally. But on the Switch,
it ran in like slow motion. I heard.
Yeah,
like 15 frames a second.
On the Switch, that game was
with like any more than like one-on-one, it was like a slow motion match basically.
Yeah, and like it's just like wow. So if developers actually are open to like not being
if they optimize for the Switch, then they can make great games.
They can make great games because like he said, NBA 2K's running great on there, but WB has never appeared there again. But then again, at this point, yeah, who knows with the WB 2K series? But yeah, the Switch I think is going to be essentially right with the GameCube in terms of how many developers are supporting it and how many games you have to choose from, and it's not really limiting you to certain options. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad that's working out.
This one's quick and easy. There's not really much to read into it. Valve says it's not working on Left 4 Dead 3. And then there's basically just a quote. It says, in a statement to IGN, Valve said that it, quote, briefly explored some Left 4 Dead next-gen opportunities a few years ago, but that it's not currently working on a new Left 4 Dead game now and hasn't done so for years.
Oh, yeah, because people are people are geeking because like a new leaks hinted that they were doing it or something?
Something like that, because they announced Half-Life, not Half-Life 3, but a Half-Life VR game.
The orange box.
And people are like, well, if they are making a new Half-Life, then they might make a new Left 4 Dead. And I think that people are just like, are they doing it? No, not really.
I think people are just trying to get their hopes up for everything. That's like me with the SOCOM remastered. I feel like on PS5 that is going to happen, the trilogy, but I'm not holding my breath, but I think there's a very good chance.
All right, this one is another interesting one. Report, PS4 exclusive Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC. Horizon Zero Dawn was released on PlayStation 4 in 2017. So Horizon Zero Dawn, a PlayStation 4 exclusive when it was released in 2017, is coming to Windows, according to a Kotaku report. Developed by Guerrilla Games and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, Horizon Zero Dawn is a critically acclaimed action role-playing game set in a world with hulking robot creatures. Guerrilla Games is owned by Sony, and its games have been exclusive to PlayStation platforms. Kotaku reported that Horizon Zero Dawn will be released on PC this year, the first time it's on a platform outside of PlayStation. The report said it'll be on, quote, both Steam and Epic Game Store, though it, quote, may not be finalized yet. Polygon reached out to Sony Interactive Entertainment for a response, but did not immediately receive response. It says, while Horizon Zero Dawn's possible release on PC is surprising, things have been trending in that direction. Sony's PlayStation Now streaming service is available on PC, making it already possible to play Horizon Zero Dawn on PC through the service. The Sony-published Death Stranding, which is based on Guerrilla's game engine, is also bound for PC. And Sony Interactive Entertainment, the company's PlayStation division, published Ready Set Heroes through the Epic Game Store for PC last year.
Yeah, hey, that's not bad.
And in December 2019, Sony and Major League Baseball re-upped their deal to develop MLB The Show, but announced the game will no longer be a PlayStation exclusive. MLB The Show is expected to release beyond PlayStation platforms as early as 2021, but the announcement didn't seem to specify where exactly it's headed. So, while it's like, okay, sure, Horizon Zero Dawn, it's a 3-year-old game, might be going to PC, whatever. But the more you dive into it, I think this could be a typical thing for Sony moving forward, of possibly having their games released exclusively on PS5 for 2-3 years, get the main chunk of sales out of it, and then moving it to PC.
That's probably what I'm thinking. I mean, PlayStation Now is already on there, like you were saying in the article, so it's. I think it seems
you can
like
already
it's a pretty
technically play it
sure
on
shot.
PC.
Yeah, no doubts. I think it's a good sure shot, guaranteed.
I think that's a pretty damn good marketing opportunity.
I mean, they'd be stupid not to do that. I mean, here's one random prediction I'm going to make. By the time the next-gen console comes out, I feel like Sony and Microsoft are going to be literally at each other's back doors, because it seems like over the past generation it went from being, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, we're not doing this. Everyone's in turmoil, like Xbox is better, PlayStation's better. And now it's, oh yeah, we got cross-platform
cross-play.
Now we got the servers for PlayStation Now and xCloud are on the same Microsoft servers. Yep. The Master Chief Collection, they want that to come to PlayStation. They want it to come to PlayStation.
PlayStation doesn't want it to, but...
And then PlayStation's probably going to start pawning things to them, and now they're doing this, so it's...
It's so weird, because it's like...
They're getting closer by, like, the generation. Like,
again, I think the theme of this episode is that the next generation is going to be such a weird generation, and so untraditional from what we've seen previously. And, like you were saying, reality. I could see them trying to extend their partnerships, but like the thing is I think
maybe make a console together. That'd be something.
I don't know if we're close to that.
We're getting there. I'm sure.
Because the thing is like it's like Microsoft, I'm sure would be not open to maybe making a console with them, maybe not going that far, but would be open to like some crazy collaborations and stuff. But I think Sony is too like stubborn at this point with like they're falling kind of back into like where they were at the launch of the PS3, and that kind of scares me. Where they're just like, oh, well, the PS2 sold like 150 million units, so fucking we're just gonna blow them out of the water with this PS3, $599, and everyone's like, fuck you.
And then they're like, yo, fuck it. That's the mood practically they had the whole gen.
I would have loved to have been like into gaming news around that time, because I couldn't imagine
being podcast we would do.
I couldn't imagine being Microsoft and having already released the Xbox 360, and then the next year at E3 having PlayStation come out and be like, okay, well, the 360 we just launched it. I think I don't remember what the 360 was at launch. Let's say $400, and then Sony's like $599, and we're coming out a year later than the 360. It's like, oh. Fuck.
Yeah, it was just from the get-go, you could tell they were just digging in the trenches, dude.
And thank God that PlayStation learned from their mistake, turned it around, and then they used all of that failure from the launch of the PS3, and they're like, we can't do that again. PS4 is all about the games. It's about the gamer. We're being conservative. We're doing everything the right way. And then they got off to this early lead, and then they've been slowly like kind of being more stubborn and more dickish as the lead has gotten bigger. And that kind of worries me. Like, I don't think that they're stupid enough to be like, oh, PlayStation 5, $700. But, like...
$700.
Not exactly like that, but I don't know. How long it took them to agree to crossplay with stuff. Because, like...
They'll throw it out like Parcheesi and Yahtzee. $700. $700. Yeah.
Because, like, when... When crossplay was first being a thing, like with Fortnite.
Oh, they immediately panned the crap out of that.
They were like, nope, hell no.
Nope. And then now we got Is Modern Warfare full on cross-platform again?
Yep.
Okay.
Modern Warfare is full on crossplay.
Rocket
League,
Minecraft.
Was the
first game that did it, right?
I think it was Fortnite.
Or was it Fortnite? I thought Rocket League did it.
Rocket League was like right after.
Oh damn! Okay, well, another win for Fortnite.
It was Fortnite,
but yeah.
Rocket League, Modern Warfare, and then Minecraft only did it recently, where they converged all the PS4 players in.
So does that mean that every major online title that comes out going forward is probably going to have cross-platform play? I'd like to assume it will. Imagine, oh man.
You know what? Hang on.
Maybe.
I think you might be onto something here, GP.
Yep. That means every
What if that's why... What if that's why I'm not saying about all of the games, but do you think maybe that's why some of these games were delayed?
Probably.
To implement stuff like that?
Well, I can already tell you, Dying Light 2 would easily be one of them, guaranteed.
Avengers is supposed to be like it's going to have a full-length campaign, but like the main thing that they're talking about is all this online stuff.
Well, because when you think about it, though, I mean, you still have games on different consoles to sell. It's just now when you think about it, now instead of having 100,000 players here and 125,000 players here, or vice versa, or one server like
now you just have one pool of 250,000 players.
Now you have 250,000 players, and I can't see why people wouldn't be happy. Yeah, sure, people would be fanboys and throw jabs at each other here.
Like
and there,
the biggest problem with it is like sometimes in Modern Warfare, you'll get into a lobby where there's like one or two people using a keyboard and mouse, and it's kind of annoying, but it's really whatever.
Modern welfare.
Modern welfare.
Oh god.
But so like that's the biggest issue with crossplay. But even still, it's just like whatever.
You know, because like, well, it's at the point now where if Call of Duty can pull off mouse and keys and controllers, then why can't every damn game that has all these different control schemes? Why can't you just have separate partitions for all these people?
They do, but like
it's cool.
Sometimes there's a ways around it. Like if you have, like if you join a match and then like. Or like if you join a match and then unplug your, like plug in your keyboard quick or whatever, but stuff like that. But like,
yeah, the thing is though, there's always going to be a backdoor to anything. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter how protected, how secure, how non-secure.
But Sony said after Modern Warfare came out, they were like, yeah, we're opening up crossplay. Like any developer that chooses to do it can do it now. So I'm not gonna lie, that could be a reason why some of these games were delayed, was to put crossplay into their online.
Happened from one random comment, but
no, actually, you know what? No. I mean, now that I think about it, I don't think that it would make sense to delay a game just to build that in, because they could just patch that in.
I gotta admit though, that could take a lot of time to figure out though, QA testing. But
but even still, they could just patch it in later. It wouldn't make sense to delay the whole game just for that. So maybe not.
But I gotta admit, I think.
Well, I think it's definitely a possibility that those games will have it, though, when they come out.
Going with the generation being so off the wall, in fact, this seems like an alternate reality, practically, that all this is happening with Sony and Microsoft on the same page, taking out Google, to them coming closer, to maybe making development things together, maybe a console down the road at some point. That would be totally cool to see half an Xbox and half a PlayStation slammed together. I would shit bricks personally, but yeah. I'd be like, I never thought I'd ever see this. Like, if that ever happens, someone needs to take a photo of me holding that console on day one, because it's going to be just one of those images like, oh my god, I feel this man's reaction. But yeah, it's going to be the generation where things that you never thought would happen are going to happen. I think the cross-platform play on every major online game is going to immediately happen.
There's no reason for it not to, because at this point,
it's kind of dumb not to do it now. It really is.
Because
stupid.
Really,
it's just egos at that point.
The only real reason for you to buy one console over the other is exclusives. And like some people will be like,
but I like Xbox more.
Well, some people will admittedly be like, well, I want a PlayStation, but like I have more friends on Xbox.
My friend just said that to me today. Actually, he's like, JP, I'm in a bind. I have he's like, I have friends on PlayStation, and I have friends on Xbox, but I can't afford 2 consoles, man.
Yeah. So that's why I feel like it makes sense.
So I think
as a consumer-friendly thing to just be like, yeah, well, you can play with anyone, so who cares? Just buy what console you want for the UI you prefer and the exclusives you want. Do you want to play Halo, Gears, Forza? Buy an Xbox. Do you want to play Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon? Get a PS5.
And the only thing they have to really focus on is, and they really have to be wholehearted with this or else it's not going to work, they need to figure out a way where you have your friends list on Xbox, you have your friends list on PlayStation. On either console, vice versa, they have to have an option where you could add someone through a different directory on your friends list that is from PlayStation. Like, as if a game gives you an option for, like, guests and stuff like that to find them from, like, another console. Like, say if I was on the Xbox and I wanted to add you to my friends list and you're on PlayStation so we could play games that are like that together. They should give you a jump option.
Oh, I know what you mean.
So just so you could jump right into the game and you're with your friend that's on another console.
That's the only thing that, like...
That's the struggle here, is, like, making it easy.
Well, I know, like,
for
instance...
Yeah.
Like, on Fortnite. So you have... Usually the way around that is games like that will ask you to make, like... Like, for instance, with Fortnite, they'll ask you to make an Epic account. So you make your Epic account, you link it to your PlayStation and whatever other platforms you have.
So that's the
and
options
then,
right now to find your friends.
Yeah, and then so like you go on and it's just like, so if you're playing on Fortnite, you want to play with someone on Xbox, you go search for their Epic name and then you can add them as a friend on Epic, and then whenever they're online, whatever platform they're on, it'll be like, hey, this person's online on whatever platform. Yeah. And then you can just join them from there. And like Call of Duty does that too. Like if you press triangle to go into your social, there's a list of your Call of Duty friends and your PlayStation Network friends under it.
So if you can catch
your Activision friends is you like search for whatever their Activision username is or their Call of Duty account username, and then you just add them. Like I have.
That sucks. There's such a go around to get it done at this point.
I mean, yeah. at least you can do it in the game.
Yeah, you could do something. So,
but.
Yeah.
But like so I added. Jordan, Justin, and Donovan. They all play on Xbox, and we were all playing like a couple months ago when the game first came out.
Yeah, because I think that might just be the challenge this generation with making.
I wish there was a way
together.
to just be like, hey.
I feel like there probably will. I feel like if they're open to it, they can make that happen. It's just they need to agree on it, and egos can't be in the way. That's the problem.
The only way I see it happening is
even an option just that says other or other.
Yeah, like it's not gonna say like Xbox. It's just gonna be they might just show up as a regular friend.
Yeah, like,
without saying the platform. It'll just be like, oh, they're playing, whatever.
It's either that or maybe your PlayStation friends could do that. Maybe if your friends on Xbox or on Switch or whatever the hell happens, maybe their name could be color coded to that console. Like their name will be green.
Maybe.
Or, well, Switch would have to proclaim a color. I don't know what's
red.
I guess red. And PlayStation should be blue.
I could see something like that, but it's also like if you're playing like Halo, it's not going to pop up on your PlayStation. Oh, they're playing Halo.
No. I'm just saying if they're online, just so you can see that they're online. If they're on a game that is like actually on PlayStation, you will see it in. Yeah, just like I feel like this generation's really about completing that phase of bringing everybody together. Because let's be real, the PS2 Xbox phase, followed by the PS3 360 phase, people were literally at each other's throats over the dumbest shit. And now PS4, Xbox One, everyone's like playing a game together. So PS5, Xbox Series X, maybe everybody could be technically linked together. Not saying what they're on, but color codes. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be really, really cool. I think that's the future of gaming, is bringing everybody together.
I think so. I hope that's what this generation's
focused on.
It doesn't seem like it is right now, but I hope that becomes one of the main focuses, is like,
I think it's starting
bringing everyone together. It's definitely starting.
It's definitely starting between their servers being merged with like the xCloud and PlayStation Now, and they're more open. It seems like the cross-platform thing is taking off wholeheartedly now, like we wanted it to a few years back. Yeah, I think this generation's gonna be a pretty cool generation for everybody to just connect and enjoy what the fuck they want, when they want it, and who cares if you're on Xbox, who cares if you're on PlayStation, who cares if you're on Switch, PC. I mean, you can all just play together. I think that's cool. Imagine zombies like that.
Dude, that'd be so fun.
Oh, man, I have a dream.
I have a dream. I'll be right back. All right, so the Xbox Series X prototype leak shows back ports. Did you see about this? Someone leaked an Xbox Series X prototype recently, and they forgot to censor out the serial number, so whoever the fuck it was is getting fucking fired. That's for damn sure. But after several weeks of speculation and reporting, we finally know what the back of the Xbox Series X prototype will look like thanks to some images posted online. The first images of the Series X prototype were posted on NeoGAF by user Curry Panda and appear to show off all the ports on the back of the upcoming system.
It's one of the greatest names I ever heard.
The system includes 2 USB-A ports, an optical audio port, an Ethernet port, and 1 HDMI port, along with a power connection. The prototype also has a port that is for diagnostic reporting, according to Thurrott's Brad Sams, who confirmed the image's authenticity. Polygon has reached out to Microsoft for verification and comment. While the console is, of course, not available for sale yet, prototypes like this are often given to developers ahead of release so they can develop games for the hardware. There's no indication of who exactly posted these images, but the Xbox does have an easily identifiable serial number and product ID, which means that Microsoft should have a good idea of where it came from.
Wow.
The new Xbox console is slated for the holidays this year. Because this version of the console is likely only a prototype, everything about it could change before release. Update. A Microsoft spokesperson responded to Polygon with the following statement. Quote, "We're excited to share more details on Xbox Series X, which will be our fastest, most powerful console and set a new bar for console performance, speed, and compatibility. However, we have nothing to announce at this time." So they basically didn't even say if it was fake or not, because it is real, most likely. But
I'm down to do that idea. Text me. I just realized that. Let's do it. But yeah, I don't know what's funnier, Curry Panda, or the fact that a dev took a photo of a dev kid.
It might not have been it might not have been a dev. Like, it could have easily been like.
Oh, it could have been someone, but like a serial
It could have been
number.
like. It could have been like a janitor in the building, you know what I mean, that just walked past it. It was like, oh, look at Xbox Series X. Or like someone's kid, you know what I mean?
I just like how they didn't censor the serial number.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Which makes me think it's probably a kid that would have like no idea.
It has to be someone who has no idea what the hell they're looking at. I don't know why it's important to look at the back of a console. I think we already assume what's going to be on the console.
I mean, I guess the only like
diagnostic
real
thing is pretty cool.
I mean, that's not going to be on the full console.
I know.
That's just for the dev thing.
Oh, diagnostics, bro.
The only real like
look at the ventilations.
The only real thing to take away from this is that
it has a good old prototype not for sale, and it has a serial number.
Well, no. The only thing of note is that this doesn't have the HDMI in port like for the TV shit that the Xbox One had, which means they're getting rid of that functionality, which, of course, because they probably have the numbers, it says almost no one uses it.
Yeah, it's just like PlayStation View. I mean, I don't know why they tried blending TV with... wow.
PlayStation View, though, like, it's a service to watch cable on your to pay for cable and be able to stream it to your console. That makes more sense to me than just taking your cable, unplugging it from your TV and just plugging it into your Xbox One. Because if you're watching TV, there's no point in running up your power bill to be watching the TV through the Xbox One, where you can just turn the Xbox off and switch it over to your TV input. You know what I mean?
I mean, cable's basically dead within the next 5 years, so I guess that it's such
so
a
it makes
lost,
sense.
It's a lost cause.
But really, I mean, 2 USBs on the back. I think it would probably be smarter to have 2 on the front, 1 on the back, but it's really whatever. I mean, there's not much else. I mean, there's no Kinect port because the Kinect got discontinued, so there's no point. Probably wouldn't even work. Well, I mean, it won't work because there's nowhere to plug it in. But, yeah. So we got 2 more things. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's next character could be Crash Bandicoot, according to this leak.
That Photoshop is so iconic. Oh my god.
The next Super Smash Bros. Ultimate character may be another beloved platforming mascot from outside of Nintendo. After adding Banjo and Kazooie to the game in September, it looks like Nintendo could kick off its second Fighter Pass with good old Crash Bandicoot. It's just a rumor for now, but it's started from a source who was on a solid run of Smash-related predictions recently. The leaker, an anonymous person going by Mandy Can on Twitter first tweeted that Crash would come to the game after the first Fighters Pass concluded. So far, so potential wish fulfillment. Throwing out potential crossover characters, Super Smash Bros. Is a final tradition, but they sent the above tweet out after correctly predicting that Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses would be the final challenger for the first DLC season back in October, almost 2 months before Nintendo made it official.
Mm-hmm.
Betting on Smash Bros. Adding the main character of the latest big Fire Emblem game is on its own a pretty safe bet, since adding Fire Emblem protagonists is like a reflex for Smash at this point. But Mandy Can also correctly predicted the date of the Super Smash Bros. Direct presentation where Byleth was announced. All of this is to say that yes, the Crash Bandicoot prediction could be just an optimistic guess, meant to get people excited, but we have more reason to believe Mandy Can than that one kid in the cafeteria who kept insisting that they're going to put Kratos and Master Chief in Smash Brothers.
There's always that kid somewhere. Yeah. Always. Doesn't matter if it's in a cafeteria, where you work, in the office, out in public, at the mall. Yep, there's always that kid. Yo, Kratos.
So
Super Smash Bro.
I mean, I could see this happening. I think it's a pretty safe assumption with the Insane Trilogy having come to Switch.
It's the safest. Yeah, it's going to happen.
And CTRs on Switch as well. So, I mean, I don't know, it makes sense. I feel like he'd be a pretty decent fighter. It gets me excited. I have Smash. I would buy the entire Fighter Pass if the first character they announce is Crash. I'd be like, I don't even care who else is coming. I'll pay the whole $30 or whatever it is.
For Crash.
Just for Crash. Just for Crash.
How many characters have they added into the game so far?
5 for DLC. But the game started with already like 72 fighters. So then now they're adding 6 more with this next DLC season pass or whatever you want to call it. So the last article we're going to read on this episode of Pizza and Pixels is massive leak might have just revealed PlayStation 5 release date, pricing, and much more. Sony has been slowly building up to its big PlayStation 5 reveal by releasing new information about the PS5 console every few weeks for the better part of the last year. We learned about the core PlayStation 5 specs without getting actual specifics, and Sony told us about the new capabilities of the future DualShock 5. Sony also confirmed that and demoed the new solid-state drive that's being built for the new console. Explained the new partial game install support, teased backwards compatibility, confirmed the holiday 2020 launch window, and revealed the PS5 logo at CES last week. That was last week as of January 13th. Despite all that, Sony never showed off the PS5 console itself, although it didn't share the base specs for the most affordable PS5 version or reveal the price and release date. We now have a huge leak that may provide answers to all of those questions, and it also suggests that Sony's big PlayStation 5 reveal is coming much sooner than we thought.
I'm so ready. So ready.
So, according to the leak, the PlayStation 5 event will go down January 5th, 2020 at the PlayStation meeting to be hosted at the Sony Hall in New York City. My problem with this rumor is I think we're too close to that at this point for that to be legit. But we'll keep reading it because I think maybe other than just the timing of it, I think it seems realistic.
Yeah, I was going to say, we all know it's February, the second week, right? Something like that.
I think it'll probably be the end of February.
Oh, okay. It's going to be February, so we got that locked in.
The console design, controller, UI, home screen, certain features, console specs, and talk from third-party and indie publishers, as well as announcements for the PS5 exclusives will be shown. Buzzwords for the console's features include, quote, little to no load times, blazing fast downloads, immersive controls, modular installs for games, download whatever, disk drive included, and download the games or stream the games as an option.
Oh, yeah.
The leaker says the PS5's new slogan is "It's time to play" and will apply to the brand as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
I would say this isn't really a leak because there was...
We
talked about a commercial a couple weeks ago, the one with that supposedly new Crash design in it, with that new mask.
Didn't that have it?
The end of the commercial says it's time to play.
So it's pretty much a spot-on article.
So that I wouldn't say is a leak. Yeah. I would say it's just like, it's just an assumption that, this new trailer had it, so maybe that's what the thing will be going forward. The console will supposedly be released worldwide in October 2020, priced at $499 USD, 449 pounds, 449 euro, and 54,999 yen. Only a single PS5 model will be available at launch. There won't be a Pro version out in stores in 2020. Interestingly, the leak says that the base PS5 specs will be roughly on par with the most expensive Xbox Series X model, which will cost $100 more than the PS5. Microsoft will also supposedly have a cheaper new Xbox that will cost $100 less than the PS5. The leaker says the PS5 will have 10 teraflops of GPU power, while the cheaper 2020 Xbox will get about half that at 4. The 4chan user also said that PlayStation Now will play a vital role in PlayStation 5's future, as it will let you access games via a subscription fee or just play your own games. Each PS5 purchase will come with a free 3-month trial of PlayStation Now. Remote play will support PS5 gameplay on smartphone, tablet, laptop, and desktop. All you need is Wi-Fi or cellular connection to stream your games. The mobile PS5 app will get a makeover too, although the virtual assistant we've read so much about wasn't mentioned in this report. The leaker also touched on PS5 backwards compatibility, saying it's a big feature for the console.
I'm so ready for that.
The leak says backwards compatibility with all PS4 games is also a big feature. Through a new transferring feature, users will easily be able to transfer their PS4 games to PS5 if those are downloaded. Save data and backups for PS4 games will also be transferable. Backwards compatibility is such a major feature that games from all 5 PlayStation platforms, PS1 to PSP, PS3, and PS4 will be compatible on PS5, making it the ultimate PlayStation console, putting an emphasis on past and present gaming. More details about backwards compatibility will be discussed at a later date, especially at E3, which another thing that makes this leak
kind of iffy. I gotta admit though, the stuff they are saying though, I mean, we all know this is probably all gonna happen for the most part.
DualShock 4 controllers, PSVR, and other PS4 accessories will be forwards compatible on the console as well, making it easy for existing PS4 to transfer to the PS5 as well. That makes sense. PSVR has already been confirmed for that. DualShock 4 and stuff would make sense too, since it's going to be the same buttons.
So essentially, this article I'd say is spot on, besides a few things here and there. But I mean, realistically, I think all this stuff is probably going to end up coming true. I mean,
the only thing that
it sounds good.
As much as I would love it, and I think it would be absolutely incredible if it was actually a thing, the only thing I'm having trouble believing is, as much as I want to believe it, I'm having trouble believing that the PS5 will be backwards compatible with every PlayStation console. I don't know why, but I feel like it will. I mean, PS1 and 2, easy enough to emulate just on the power of the PS5, sure. PS3 is where I'm concerned, because it has the processing power to do it, but the way games were developed for PS3 was so odd that I think it would take more processing power than it's worth to actually be able to do it and emulate the games on top of that. Yeah. And there's no way in hell they're going to do a system on a chip for the PS3, because that's going to be too expensive for the PS3 games.
I gotta admit though, it's still gonna be a banging console and have backwards compatibility regardless. I'm stoked. Just for PS2.
We already know the backwards compatibility for PS4 is definitely confirmed. But see, I don't know, because I don't know. I think it's possible. Granted, I'm not a programmer. I don't know how tough that would be to get that stuff working, but I don't know. We'll see. I think it's possible, but I don't know. It seems like it seems like they would have to invest a lot of resources into figuring something like that out. Just for the PS3 games. Everything else shouldn't be that hard.
Just imagine that, though. Like, I feel like it's time to get it done. Because that's all everyone's been saying the past few generations, backwards compatibility. And, I mean, I think this could be it. Could be. Something to think about.
Yeah, I don't know. But as much as I think this rumor sounds mostly realistic, it's just those couple of things where it's like, oh, February 5th, well, that's like a week and a half away. Like, we would know about it by now. And the thing that says, they'll talk about stuff, especially at E3. Well, they're not going to E3 anymore. So those two things kind of disprove this leak already, but
I gotta admit, all the other stuff in it practically does sound just.
Hopefully
it's not happening.
Hopefully it's something like the E3 thing. Like, if you just heard this through the grapevine and didn't know that they weren't going to E3 yet, sure, that makes sense. But I don't know that you would hear like, oh yeah, we're doing the event February 5th, and then it get pushed back like a couple weeks internally. Like, I don't know. I don't know how stuff like this goes. I'm not in the industry, but
yeah. Always something to think about.
It seems interesting. What do you guys think that is going to happen with PS5? When do you think it's going to be revealed? When do you think kind of games you think we're going to get looks at. I don't know. Let us know if you guys are excited for PS5 and Xbox Series X. I know we are, and I hope you guys are too. But until next time, this has been Pizza and Pixels, the show where JP and I order a pizza and talk about video games until that pizza shows up. And it goes live every other Saturday on youtube.com/HexxedPhenom or on podcast services around the globe, places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, really any podcast service of your choosing. And until next time, another one bites the crust.